what's up guys, this is Two Awesome Men, and as you can see, we have a new set here. I decided to move in with Zach. We're living together now, and we decided to have this nice little set, this cabinet, you know, we have it all here. It's pretty awesome now.
And we are in the process of getting a couple more toys and props to put on here, a couple more Funkos and everything to make it a little more pizzazz, I guess you could say.
We decided that we're going to put the phone right here, this phone, because this phone is what we use to record our very first videos. We're going to try our best to put this thing in every single video from here on out. So if we get big and we get all big headed, we can just look and say, oh, it's okay now. So there we go. Anyways, that's not what we had in this video. This video is to review a movie that we are a little bit late on, but we still want to put it out there, and that is the movie Split. I actually truly did love this movie quite a bit. M. Night Shyamalan is coming back.
Yeah, his last movie was The Visit, I believe, or at least that was his last big one. And this one's actually, it's actually one of his better ones. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. There's a couple I would put before it, but it definitely is up there with his other movies.
As you know, M. Night Shyamalan has really kind of gone through a rough patch the past decade or so. You know, at first he had some really good hits, and then he started going through all these pretty crappy movies, and then we got to The Visit, and The Visit wasn't a perfect movie, but it was a movie I really did love. I felt like it was probably one of the most perfect examples of a found footage style movie. And now we're getting to this one, which is Split, starring James McAvoy. And I thought this movie was, it blew me away quite a bit. It had its issues, but we'll go into those later. But first I want to talk about James McAvoy.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I know it's this movie came out in January, so it can't be nominated for an Oscar until next year. But I really, truly believe he deserves to be nominated for Best Actor because his acting in this movie was phenomenal.
I had absolutely no idea that James McAvoy could actually act like this. You know, I've seen him in X-Men, and I realized that he was a good actor at that point, but I had no idea what kind of range he had. And this movie is a perfect example of showing what kind of range a person has.
Yeah, because in this movie he plays he's the main character, and he plays this guy who has 23 different personalities within himself. So he has to play, which they don't really show all 23 personalities in this movie, but they show quite a bit of them. And so he has to sort of switch between all these. Sometimes he even switched between them like within a single scene.
Just the amount of creepiness and the intenseness that this movie had, because in the movie he kidnaps these three girls into his where he lives, and just this amount of just utter like creepiness, it keeps on the edge of your seat the entire movie. And it was from like at least I'm going to say the first 5 minutes, within like the first 5 minutes or so, and it was just so beautiful how they actually did all this. And some of the scenes of this movie, some of the shots were filmed beautifully, and I loved it so much. The acting, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that James McAvoy was amazing, and then there was three girls that he kidnapped. Now the main character, I thought she did really good, but the other two, I felt like they weren't bad actresses per se, but I'm going to say they weren't fantastic.
The main girl who got kidnapped in this movie, the actress's name was Anya Taylor-Joy. She played on the movie The Witch, which came out a couple years ago, or actually like 1 year ago, and it sort of had sort of same feeling to this movie, sort of a creepy vibe.
One thing that I did love about this movie, out of the many things I did love, was how deep they went into some of the characters and their backstories. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want to spoil anything, but the main actress, they decide to show her background in this way that you're watching sometimes and you're trying to figure out like, why did they have to show this, you know? I don't understand why I have to watch this. I feel like it's wasting time, but you start realizing why they're showing this, and it makes so much sense. And then not only do they have it be part of the story itself, but you begin to understand this girl. You begin to know who she is. And just like the main character, they don't just show him as some horrible human being. They show him as this actual guy, and it's obvious that he has a mental disorder. He even goes to a therapist, and they start showing that part of his life.
Like I said earlier, he does have 23 personalities within himself. Within this movie, they sort of interact with each other, and it's sort of cool to see that it sort of has that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde vibe.
Now, even though I did enjoy plenty of things about this movie, it did have its issues. Like I said a while ago, two of the girls weren't great actresses. They weren't awful per se, but they weren't that great. But another big issue I had with this was the ending. Now the ending, I'm not going to say it was awful. It actually wasn't even bad by any means, but there's just something about it. I felt like it showed what it was wanting to do. I understood what it was wanting to do, and I understood what happened at the end. It's just that there's something that needs a little bit more confirmation, and you want to go a little bit further. And so that's one of my biggest issues, my biggest complaints. And another complaint I had was I felt like, well, like all of these kind of horror-ish movies, these suspenseful movies, there's always these moments whenever the character could have done something to have it finished earlier. But overall, those weren't those big of complaints to me.
To agree with him, I sort of agree that the ending, like you said, you could see what they want to do, and they actually did what they want to do. So I'm not saying that anything was left out. I just feel like it wasn't completely intact, like it wasn't complete, and I feel like it could have been much better than it was. So I'm not gonna say like it's a huge complaint, but I feel like they could have done a little more.
I would definitely recommend watching this movie. It was a fantastic, beautiful movie. I just had those few little issues with it, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Split an A-.
Like I said, James McAvoy's performance in this movie, it really elevated it to the next level. It really made this movie great for me. I mean, the storyline was great in itself, but the acting of James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy were just phenomenal. It just increased it to such a higher level than it would have been. And I'm going to give Split an A.
So guys, yeah, go ahead and go out and see this movie, because I have a feeling this is the kind of movie that's going to fly under the radar and not get a lot of attention, and it really deserves a lot of attention because of how great it was. But yeah, so that's the end of our review for Split. Thank you so much for watching this review. Let us know down on the bottom what you thought about this review, what you thought about this movie. Just let us know. We really do like to read those things and respond to them as well.
And don't forget to follow our social medias. We do have a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They're all at 2awesomemen, the number 2.
As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and you will see us later.